Welcome, everybody, to episode 11 of the DENSI podcast. We have some great panelists on the air, as always. And so without further ado, I would like to have them introduce themselves to you and tell you who they are, where they're from, and how many times they've been to Summer Institute. Sandy, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, my name is Sandy MacDougall, and I'm from up north and east in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Summer Institute this year will be my second. I was in Vermont last year for a wonderful time. And here in Halifax Regional School Board, my job is as a technology integration leader, but the title changed today, actually, and I'm now an instructional technology specialist.
All right, welcome. Denisha.
Hi, my name's Denisha Read. I'm coming from Pensacola, Florida, and I'm an instructional technology teacher in Escambia County School District. I think my role is similar to yours, Sandy, and we're hoping for that title change soon. And this will be my first time to attend the DEN Summer Institute.
It's exciting.
Yes.
Welcome, Denisha. Lindsay.
Welcome.
Hey, I'm Lindsay Morhart. I am coming to you from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and this will be my third Summer Institute, so I'm pretty excited for that. And I'm the vice principal of a pre-K to 8 school, and then next year I'm not quite sure what I'm teaching yet, so still up in the air.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. And our very special guest today, Porter, welcome.
Hi there. Hi, Brandon. Thanks for doing this. I'm Porter Palmer. I am the director of the DEN Global Community, and I spend a good part of my year working on the DEN Summer Institute. So I'll be there to greet each one of you when you come in and support you throughout the week and in the weeks leading up to the Summer Institute, as well as the time after the Summer Institute.
All right, thank you.
Oh, and how many times have I been to the Summer Institute? This will be year number 6 for me, I think.
All right. Are you sure?
No, it's either 5 or 6, but
We'll just say you've attended a lot.
I have.
Well, thank you, everyone, for being here, and thank you again to Discovery Education for putting on the Summer Institute. It really is just a great week of professional development and getting to know new people. Sandy, I'm going to come to you first with this question. What is one of the takeaways or kind of biggest ahas you have from attending the Summer Institute last year?
I think I'd have to say the meaning of the DEN. So we talk about Discovery Education Network, and it was really at the Summer Institute last year that I understood what the network part really meant. So my colleague and I went last year, didn't know anyone else, and came away with a large handful of friends and colleagues and peers that we could reach out to, and a very largely expanded personal learning network. So I think that's the biggest thing.
And you got to go to a baseball game.
Oh, yes. For people who don't know me and weren't there, that's an inside thing, but yeah, I'll explain this summer.
Sandy is not a fan of baseball.
If nothing else, got that checked off the list.
That's right.
All right, Lindsay, Sandy talked about the personal learning network and Summer Institute. How did your PLN grow because of Summer Institute?
Well, I was in the same boat, 2 years ago when I came to Montana. I knew of a couple people that were coming from Moose Jaw, but I didn't really know them. So walking in there, I have to say, just as an addition, when Porter said she would be there to greet you, she really will be, and she'll know your name. I remember being blown away by that when I walked in, and she's like, "Hi, Lindsay." I'm like, "What?" Who? So I mean, it really is. People really do go out of their way to make you feel welcome, and so then going last year was great because I knew so many people. And I mean, I do things with these people throughout the year. Like I came and visited Brandon and Dennis Grice in California. I saw Janita. You really do connect with these people, and if you make the effort, they're there for you, anything that you want or need. So the people are really amazing.
For sure. Porter, can you kind of talk about the power of the DEN community and how you've seen it grow over the years?
Sure. I mean, I'm happy to be able to talk about this particular thing on the podcast. You and I were talking about it earlier, but one of the things about the Summer Institute and about this community really is it's all about the people. There's an awful lot of things that when you're there you're going to learn about. There are great takeaways. The sessions are outstanding. Many of them are done either by the Discovery Education staff or by the DEN gurus. And they're excellent sessions, but the truth is, and we are not ashamed to say this, the real power is in those connections. And Brandon is a really great example of that. Brandon is expecting another child with his wife in the next month, and so he wasn't able to apply to the Summer Institute this year. And I don't know that you've mentioned
I could have applied, but I don't think it would have been a good idea.
Probably would not have gone over very well. But that really speaks to the power of this community and to this event. That how many of these hangouts have you scheduled, Brandon?
This is number 11 of 18.
So this is number 11 of 18 that a person who is not attending the DEN Summer Institute has taken on as a passion project because he wants to give back, he wants to be connected, and he wants to join in on what's happening. And that's really what the DEN is all about. He sent me an email, said, hey, can I do this? And my job is to say, yes, tell me what you need, and then to support him.
Well, and you just look there. Thank you, Porter, for allowing us to do this. I don't know if you guys just see a talking circle
We
right
do.
now.
We lost your video.
That's just as good. You know, it is all about the DEN, and you know, there's no, in my opinion, no greater network. So thank you to the DEN. All right, going over to Denisha. You've kind of heard a little bit of what we've been talking about the people, about the Summer Institute. What are some questions that you might have leading up to Nashville?
Well, one of the questions that I came with today was I was planning on bringing an iPad mini, and I wanted to know if that would be enough or if I should plan to bring a laptop as well, if I would be able to do everything required in the sessions and all of the events with just a mini.
Sandy or Lindsay?
I would say bring everything that you want to have there. I mean, I'll have my iPad, I'll have my MacBook. I think people kind of just load up, and that way you're prepared for anything.
I think I would agree. If you got it, bring it, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And that's right.
It's better to have it and not use it than to get there and feel that you should have brought it and be frustrated.
Okay. Thank you.
And one of the things that's been brought up, Denisha, in other podcasts is make sure you have all of your power plugs that go with these devices. And not that people wouldn't lend you one, but you never want to be stuck out in the the middle of the, not to be, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
You don't want to be without power.
And at the other end of things, when you're packing up, check really, really carefully, because sometimes we leave chargers plugged in and they fall down behind something and you don't notice. So I left both my iPad and my phone charger in the dorm room last year. Mm-hmm. And when I contacted the dorm, of course, it had not been found. But they were both left there last year. So check really carefully and make sure you got all your cords coming home with you as well.
Right. Porter, on episode 4, I believe, of the podcast, we had a question about the craft making. Can you kind of talk about what people can expect for the craft or anything else like that?
Sure. So I'll go to the backstory on this. Christy Vincent, who is from Texas and will be at the DEN Summer Institute, was on a plane coming from somewhere, and after her flight she posted a picture of a scarf that she had knitted while she was on her flight. And I thought to myself, you know, most of these folks are makers, whether it's a craft that you make or you have a 3D printer. I just started thinking about the folks who come to the Den Summer Institute. Many of you, myself included, although not so very often, we all have a maker in us, you know, that we want to do things with our hands. So if you happen to have a craft that you do or something that you make, then what our idea was, and so this doesn't mean that everybody has to bring a craft or a thing that they make, but if you do have something that you make and is feasible for you to bring along, then Christy Vincent is going to be reaching out to you for a place for you to sign up and sort of say, here's what my denovation, because this is a denovator fair, what your denovation is, and hopefully you'll bring enough supplies for a handful at least of other folks to participate in the craft that you do. And think of it as sort of like a lunch and learn or a science fair where you go around to different sections and you can sit down and talk to the person who that's what they're. So if Christy is showing knitting, then hopefully there'll be extra knitting tools there. I don't even know anything. She could have been crocheting. I just know that it had needles and stringy stuff. And it resulted in a scarf, okay? So you can go sit down with her and she can talk to you about this thing that she does and you can learn. So you don't have to come with a craft if you aren't a crafter person, or whatever craft you do is glass blowing and you can't bring that with you, or whatever, you know. But what each person who does bring something for the Denovator Fair, what we're going to do is have some sort of instructional video, whether you find it on YouTube or whether you create it yourself, so that anybody who stops by your little station can scan a QR code and leave with instructions on how they can do that, how they can make that too. So if you don't have a craft that you do, don't panic. You can be one of the people who walks around and learns about the craft. If you do have a craft and you still want to walk around and see stuff, we're going to make sure that there's time for you to do that as well. So we'll take turns walking around and take turns manning our station. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, absolutely. It sounds like there's something for everybody, whether you are someone that might be making something or someone that just wants to kind of go around and learn.
Yeah.
And did we get a little spoiler there on the name change? The was it the?
Yeah, so I did originally. We were originally calling it the Maker Fair, and I noticed, well, the DENSI Maker Fair, and I noticed that Maker Fair is trademarked, and I didn't want us to get in any trouble. So Christy and I brainstormed ideas, and she came up with Denovator Fair, and we're always looking for a great excuse to cram the letters D-E-N into any word. So that worked out just great for us. So it's now the Denovator Fair.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing all that information about that. All right, Sandy, I'm going to come over to you with the question. Kind of Porter was talking about kind of learning as you go, and that's kind of one of the things that happens at Summer Institute. Even though there's sessions happening, there's sometimes learning going on outside of the sessions. Can you talk a little bit about that? Kind of fill Denisha in on even though she might not find a session that fits to her needs, she might find people that are discussing other things out in the commons area.
Oh, yeah. I would say at least as valuable and maybe more valuable than formal sessions. And I'll say formal sessions, but nothing is terribly formal. It's all pretty relaxed. is just talking with folks and seeing how other people do things and making those connections and learning from others all the time. And that was that's a great thing to experience. The Summer Institute kind of wraps up with an unconference, and my personal blog is called Cautious Optimist, and I called it that because I do like to move forward, and I want to move forward, but I'm always cautious about it, and therefore I'm sometimes skeptical. So the unconference was a good example, and I was skeptical about how it might work, and I thought it wouldn't, and it did very well work, and as a result my colleague and I did a mini unconference here just a few weeks ago, and it worked very well, and we had skeptics here. So as far as we know, it was the first unconference in our region of any kind. And just all of those connections and all of that outside the session time, whether it's in the evening or between sessions or over coffee, it's all really, really great and really important. And at any time, if you feel overwhelmed or if you make a connection that just needs to be pursued at that point, then do that. And it's important to do what you feel is right to do at the time. And I know at one point, it was actually during the unconference for me, I just hit a wall, and it was like, whew, can't sit and listen to anybody else talk about anything else. And I just went and found a quiet corner and got a coffee and sat quietly. And if that happens, that's absolutely fine. And, everybody knows that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Sandy, that the DEN Summer Institute is unlike any other conference that you will go to. Like, there is an expectation that you fully participate. So it's not I hang out in my dorm and I like this session and I'm just going to go to that. It's really an expectation to fully participate. But sometimes fully participating means I need a break and a time to talk to this one other person who sparked this really great idea, and we're going to go out into the hallway and we're going to brainstorm and really flesh this thing out. Or I really need some time to process this on my own, and I'm going to step out for this session, and just the days are long, the nights are long, there's not very much time for sleep, and there's not a lot of time for naps either. Most people will say you can sleep when you get home.
That's right.
And Denisha, that's the best advice you're going to get right there. Denisha, do you have a lot of formal clothes you plan on bringing to Summer Institute?
I do not. I'm going to take heed of all the comments to be casual. I'll bring a couple of nice things. I'll pack a sweater in case it's cold in the rooms, because I am cold-natured, and I'm going to be casual. Comfortable shoes so I can get around all the places we're going.
That is the most important thing, is to be comfortable.
Right.
All right, Lindsay, let's talk about being a tech leader, as I believe all three of you are, versus someone who might come for things for their classroom. So you guys are kind of looking for things to show their teachers. What are some of the things that you can pull away from Summer Institute that you're able kind of to share out and kind of talk about that sharing experience?
What do you mean, Brandon? Just what I...
Like how you can share what you learn with other teachers in your school or in your district.
Well, for me, I guess, I'm not really sure if I'm going to answer your question. I mean, I just share. I just come back, and my superintendent has given me the opportunity to work with teachers in my school division because she knows that I've been going. Also, you know, piloting different, I get the chance to pilot different things. So next year, for example, I've managed to have all our old tech replaced with Chromebooks. Plus, our high school is getting Chromebooks for all the grade 9s, so I get to help kind of implement those and be a leader that way. So I guess it's just afforded me the chance to be able to take that leadership role within my school division, which has been great because they know that I have a lot of people that I can rely on and a lot of knowledge that I've obviously learned going to Summer Institute.
Right, so you'd say it's pretty much empowered you to kind of press on with other things.
Yeah.
All right, Denisha. One of the big discussions has been the music night costume. Do you have anything that you have planned so far that you would like to share, or are you kind of keeping it under wraps for now?
Well, let's just say I have my cowgirl boots ready.
All right, Sandy, Lindsay, or Porter, anything you guys want to share about your music night costumes?
I am not allowed to say. I've been sworn to secrecy.
I have guesses about yours, Lindsay.
Well, someone better not have blabbed.
No, nobody's blabbed. I just have some guesses.
You might be surprised, Porter.
I might.
And I've got nothing so far.
That's good.
Well.
And Denisha, we've been talking a lot about these costumes and how it can be anything from, like Lindsay wore a sports jersey last year and a hat, and then we had a full-on working camera that someone dressed up as. So those are kind of your, the range for what you can dress up.
Okay.
Yep. So I expect someone is likely coming as a piano or a guitar. And then there will be people who, I know this for a fact because I might be one of them, who are going to wear T-shirts and jeans and call themselves a concert goer. There will be a full gamut of costumes, and there will be prizes.
Awesome. All right, couple things before we head out here. For all your DENSI resources or resources, you can head to densi2014.com, and for everything within the Den, head to dencommunity.com. I want to share with you guys one thing I saw. I'll do a screen share here in a second. One thing I saw, let me pull it up, online the other day from Denisha, and I just want to kind of get your thoughts on this right here. The Sound of Music Unplugged coming to Nashville this summer with the Den Summer Institute. Thoughts on that, anyone?
Oh my God, I love the Sound of Music. I'm excited.
I predict that there are Sound of Music costumes that we will be seeing this year.
Yeah, me too.
Sandy, you want to comment anything?
No, I have no comment.
Sandy's going to be Maria.
I'm sure it'll be fun, regardless.
I myself am hoping for a return of Wrong Direction, but we can only hope. We can only hope. So. All right.
I don't have any more of those ill-fitting shirts, unfortunately. Although I will say, in case anyone is wondering,
I don't think that's unfortunate.
Brandon did start that trend. He was first to put on.
He started a lot of things last year.
Oh, yes. Yes, there were a lot of things that Brandon was first at.
I don't know if I should how I should take that, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take what you got.
Brandon shall live in infamy.
Yep.
I wish my camera were working right now because I would show you my Men of the Den calendar that a couple of Judy and a couple other Den members put together.
Created so lovingly. I took the picture of you, by the way.
I know, and you got your very own signed copy, if I'm not mistaken.
I did, an autographed copy from all of the Men of the Den.
You lucky girl.
I know.
All right. This has been too much fun. And the fun times will just continue at Summer Institute. I want you all to have just the best of time. And I'm going to get just a last word from everybody, starting with Sandy, Denisha, Lindsay, and then Porter. You can wrap it up. One last word from everybody, just about anything you want about Summer Institute. Sandy.
I'm just looking forward to seeing everyone and to meeting you, Denisha, and all the other folks who I didn't meet last year.
All right. Denisha?
I'm looking forward to meeting everyone and growing my professional learning network. I can't wait to see all of you in person. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Thank you, Porter, for putting this on, and to Discovery Education for hosting the Summer Institute.
Lindsay?
Yeah, I'll second that. I'm excited to see everyone, and maybe just a bit of advice for you is just to pace yourself when you get there, because it can be very tempting to dive in head first and just try and do every last thing there, but sometimes that can lead to a bit of exhaustion. So pace yourself, and you'll get the hang of it.
All right, Porter, last word.
I'm sure I encourage you to hop into Edmodo right away and continue the conversation there, and make sure that you look at the packing list on the spreadsheet, the attendee spreadsheet. A whole lot of your information will be on that spreadsheet, so spend time getting familiar with it, and I expect to have the schedule of what we are doing, what all the sessions are, up within the next few days.
All right. Well, thank you, Porter, and thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us today. And once again, thank you to Discovery Education for putting on the Summer Institute, a week-long learning extravaganza, if you will, or DENStravaganza. Thank you guys for hanging out today, and have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.